good to be back.
Here we go. Here we go.
I haven't been in the lounge in a while.
Yeah, dude. Which one are you again?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the pregame lounge. Let's go. Man, I cannot wait for this one tonight. Getting you set for Nuggets Pelicans. Nuggets Pelicans. I just love saying that word. Pelicans. We are presented by Bet365 Never Ordinary. I'm Harrison Wynn hosting tonight, joined by Brendan Vogt.
Pelicans had a surprisingly vibey shoot around this morning. I think they were playing great music. That's really all it takes to fool me. But I still like the Nuggets' chances tonight. Good to be here.
What would a bad vibe shoot around look like, in your opinion?
I've seen them.
Yeah,
I've seen them. Not that many people there. No one's talking to each other. Terrible music choice. It's the music.
Also joined by Superstar Dev.
I would have been excited. I mean, super excited. Like last year, the year before that, on a Pelicans game.
Yeah,
but Zion's just not the same, man. I'm excited to I just want to see if he's going to get back to that eventually.
Yeah,
he's a good player when he's on the floor. He's fun to watch. Plays well. Presents problems for a lot of teams.
How often is that?
Yeah, not often enough. But wait, when he is playing, he does play well, and so we'll see what he's got for Denver tonight.
Well, we might see it tonight. The Nuggets are going to get a heavy load of Zion Williamson because of some of the injuries that the Pelicans have. Nuggets also have some injuries as well. Jamal Murray is out tonight. We'll talk about his injury, how long he might be out. Also, get Brendan Vogt's take on Michael Defender Jr.
Oh, is he playing well? I hadn't noticed.
It was a storyline over the weekend. I don't know if you saw.
I heard about it.
We'll also talk about who's the toughest challenger, who's the Nuggets' biggest challenger in the Western Conference at this moment, and then Superstar Dev will give us his best bets for tonight.
Let's go.
First, though, game notes. What should we be watching for tonight? Nuggets Pelicans.
Okay, well, you should know by now Jamal Murray is out with a right hamstring strain. How long will he be out? Well, Malone said this. It's not a 1 or 2 game injury.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds dramatic. We did know that as soon as they said strain. Harrison, already I'll toss it to you. I know you predicted like a couple of weeks in the piece you released recently.
Michael Malone also gave his favorite injury designation in the pregame availability.
What's that?
Foreseeable future.
That's right.
He said Jamal Murray will be out for the foreseeable future. I think this is going to be a couple-week thing. 2 to 3 weeks is my best guess. Now, it could be a little sooner. It could be a little after that. But hamstrings are tough, man. Like hamstrings, if you don't let that thing heal all the way, it's one of the easiest injuries to aggravate again. So I think they're going to be careful with this, and you should prepare for, a nice little stretch here. Maybe not nice, but a stretch here without Jamal.
Yeah, I mean, with Jamal, Denver is number 1 out west, 6-1 record. So they already have bought some time to have him, and also they've shown that they can win without him. So there's no reason at all to rush him back.
Yeah.
So give him as much time as needed. And also, just looking at your videos that you guys went to practice today, it was great to see him just like up and still active and things like that. So just rest him.
Yeah, take your time coming back. To the point Dev was just making, Michael Malone also said the reality is when you have Jokic, there's a lot of guys you can plug in and play, and you're going to be just fine. So we'll see how long they will be without Jamal, but we know it's not a 1 or 2 game injury.
Mm-hmm.
You also might have seen that Nikola Jokic popped up on the injury report today with right wrist inflammation. As he's wont to do, to be honest, this does pop up for him on and off throughout the years.
This is year 4 of the right wrist.
Year 4 of the right wrist. I always start to get worried, and then I remember that these are 4 of the best years of basketball anyone's ever played. So he's probably fine. You know what I mean? And he is playing tonight. He
is playing and starting. I put out the NBA leaders in 2-point percentage so far this season.
Yeah.
Minimum like 60 attempts. Jokic is number 1 at 70.6. Donovan Mitchell is number 2 at 64.4. So he's doing this on a bum wrist.
Right. Unbelievable stuff. A couple more for you. Malone said that they have multiple options. He did stress that they have everyone available, like Reggie, Colin, and Jalen. He did name all three. Having said that, it sure feels like two of those guys are first up to bat, namely Reggie Jackson, who will start tonight, and then Colin Gillespie, I think, will probably be first up to bat after that. As for the New Orleans Pelicans, CJ McCollum, he has a collapsed right lung, so he's sure not playing tonight. We hope he gets better. Jose Alvarado, infamous Nuggets killer, he's also out, as are Trey Murphy and Najee Marshall for the Pelicans.
They're missing a lot of rotational guys. I didn't expect. I knew that CJ McCollum was out, but they are missing some really good guys. Trey Murphy's a hell of a player. Yeah. He played extremely well against Denver the last time out. Alvarado, good player.
Nuggets
killer. Knocked down like 4 or 5 3-pointers in like one small span that like altered the game. Like, so missing those type of guys. Denver's still going to win.
What are you watching for tonight, Dev?
I want to see if they are able to still slow down Zion Williamson. Like, that was a tough matchup, but also you have guys in Aaron Gordon that can try to use his body and use that strength to get him. You have, Jokic at the rim to also give him different looks. So just trying to see if you could slow down Zion when they're force-feeding it to him because they're missing CJ McCollum.
Yeah. What about you, Vogt?
Well, I did miss a couple of good games for Michael Porter Jr. I sure would like to see him continue that. And that's not just the shooting, the energy on the boards, and then also the defense. And a night where maybe they'll need him and they'll need his length. He's not a good option for someone like Zion. But if Aaron Gordon is, and they're not just switching every screen, is he a good option on a guy like Brandon Ingram, who likes to take tough fadeaways? We know Porter has that length. So Michael Defender Jr., which I know we'll talk about more, that's something I'm watching. But also just what does the bench look like without Jamal Murray? Obviously, he's a starter, but he staggers, and now Reggie's playing with the starters. The bench, what they had going for them, fellas, was an established identity, or at least a blueprint. And without Jamal, it's a little different. So that's the obvious thing to watch for. But can they win games without Jamal Murray and all of that? Of course.
That's the number one thing I'm probably watching for tonight. Who steps in at backup point guard? Is that going to be Colin Gillespie? Is it going to be Jalen Pickett? I think it's pretty safe to assume, well, we do know Reggie Jackson is stepping into the starting lineup. We knew that was going to be the case. The sense I got at Nuggets shoot-around today when we spoke with Colin Gillespie is that he's preparing to be the backup tonight, and that seems like the way the Nuggets are going to go. That seems like the direction Michael Malone's going to go. Gillespie's going to have the first shot at being the backup here with Jamal Murray out. He played against Chicago. I wasn't on the show with you guys after that game, but I went back and watched his minutes. I thought he did some good things. I thought there were also some red flags with his play, specifically defensively as well.
Right.
I mean, Kobe White blew by him a few times fairly easily. What do you guys think about Colin Gillespie, him probably getting those minutes tonight? Are you excited to watch Gillespie? What's your feeling around him right now, Dev?
I mean, you have to be excited to just see who's going to run that backup unit. And also, this is a guy that's on a 2-way contract that is going to be pushed into actual minutes in the NBA. So, of course, that's exciting. Also, you want to see if he continues to have, good play or have those positive moments and not so many red flags. So, for an opportunity, a guy that came off of a year-long season, injury, it is exciting to see if he's going to be able to continue that.
To what extent can he look the part defensively? I think Colin at his best with guys playing well around him. He's a good point guard. He's actually a great point guard.
Yeah.
Pretty limited at the NBA level just in terms of size, and I hate saying that. God, do I hate saying that. But it is a problem or a reality for Colin, and specifically, how does that fit into the switchability thing, the versatility? Namely that it doesn't really on paper. So how well does he hold up defensively? I think will go a long way to determining if he can keep this job as long as it exists in this form. So, but I do think offensively, if he has some nights where you're like, man, he looks good out there, I mean, that's not going to shock me,
He made a 3 against the Bulls. I think he went 1 of 3 from distance. And, I've heard that he's, over the summer, he really committed to working on his jump shot. The Nuggets were pretty impressed with the improvements he's made with his jumper and kind of the time he put in on the practice court throughout the offseason. It's going to be interesting to see what it looks like defensively. That's probably my biggest question at backup point guard right now, because the reason I think, or the leading reason why the Nuggets second unit has been somewhat successful so far is because of what they've been doing on the defensive end of the floor and how they've been able to switch 1 through 5 with Zeke Naji, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, and Reggie Jackson, and then one starter staggering. I don't know if Colin Gillespie can switch 1 through 5.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jalen Pickett can either.
Also fair.
But I have more faith that he can instead of Gillespie. Like, Jalen Pickett's bigger. I think, from what I know, the Nuggets have confidence in him being able to guard up a position or two. So I think he can, guard 2s, 3s. He can guard in the post a little like James Harden can. Like, could be a good post defender. So that's probably my biggest question. How does Colin Gillespie hold up defensively? I think we'll find out tonight.
And then to what extent does he get help, whether that's shared minutes with Reggie, KCP, which sometimes we've seen with the bench, or even maybe a little bolder would be saying Michael Porter Jr. Not that I'm expecting that, but, potential changes to the rotation go beyond who get the point guard minutes. What do the staggers, there's your word of the day, look like? So, that's all interesting stuff to watch. There's something to, obviously, first and foremost, you just want Jamal to be as healthy as possible and as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But we also know that Jamal and the starters look good. So there is something to sink our teeth into here in terms of how do they adapt, and it starts tonight.
Let's move on to topic number 2.
Okay, sure.
Should I just let you take the wheel for this one?
No, it's a group effort.
Should I just step out and let you ISO here?
It's a team effort.
Guys, it feels like Michael Porter's having a bit of a moment. I thought he played probably the best defensive game of his career against Dallas when he actually locked up Luka Doncic. And then, he came back against the Bulls, had a great offensive night. He really had solid offensive games in both those outings. Vogt, we haven't heard from you on this next evolution of Michael Porter Jr. Give us your take.
I think he's looking healthier. And I think, honestly, man, more often than not, there were a lot of hurdles for him to clear in terms of getting up to speed with a short runway on a team that did not allow of time. But outside of that, most of the Porter issues to me have just come back to how healthy he is and mobility, which is obviously something that when he's banged up, beyond his already concerning injury history, you see that the mobility is zapped. He looked a lot better in both sides of the ball in these last 2 games. My friend Voya helped us dig up a clip of Porter playing great defense on Luka last year, and that was his best defensive game. But this is a continuation of stuff Porter's been putting together for a long time, namely recognizing that his length is his best asset, not overreacting to every little move, not even necessarily panicking if guys turn the corner on him. And with slow, methodical guys like Luka, his length is really just as valuable as anything. And so he's happy to sort of take his time with that possession. He's playing really well, but listen, he doubled down on the grade 3 ankle sprain. Whether that's true or not,
I know. He likes talking about his grade 3 ankle sprain.
He's telling us that's what but it was a gnarly injury. And he was not producing enough consistently through the first 4 games, but there was a reason for that, and it's that he was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talk about the health on his defense. I think also there's just been like a light switch that is turned on for him. Like he knows where to be. And that's like the biggest change is the IQ on the defensive end where he's using his length, he's using his athleticism, and he's just staying patient. Like I don't feel like he's jumping after every single thing. He's not, being taken out of position. They are now starting to try to ISO him. It's not working. It's just not working. So I love that he's like using all of the tools in the toolbox to be able to defend, and it's starting to come together with him playing just more complete games. I do think that he has a great challenge tonight against Ingram because you have to put Aaron Gordon on Zion and try to defend that. Everyone else, they're not going to be able to help side. They're not going to be able. So this is a real opportunity for him to showcase like ISO defense, and that's what I've been. That's what I'm most excited about tonight. Actually.
Yeah. How real, though, is Michael Defender Jr., or is this kind of a blip and, we'll see maybe the defense taper off? Like, do you think he's still going to have bad defensive nights?
Yes.
Or so you do?
I do, but I still think, and look, is he going to lock Luka Doncic up every night or look like an elite defender every night? Absolutely not. Porter's not an elite defender. But I do think he's essentially, at this point, he's kind of a 3-and-D guy, man. Like, I think the floor is pretty high. You can't really just ISO him. Off ball, he'll kind of get lost sometimes. But for the most part, between the rebounding, the ability to not be a weak link in the ISO game, and just be disruptive as a small forward who's very tall and long, I do think he started figuring this stuff out last year. I really do. And so I think it's a continuation of stuff that he's been doing, he's capable of doing. Is he going to do it every night? I mean, he's not Alex Caruso or Drew Holiday, Dev.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway from like these last couple games of Michael Defender Jr. is that him being an above-average defender changes everything for the Nuggets. There's no weak link on the starting five for opposing teams to go at. There's nobody you can try to target. Jamal Murray, I think, is having a very underrated defensive season as well.
Agreed.
It's a shame he had this injury, which has briefly put a stop to it. But when you can't go at Michael Porter Jr., what do if you're an opposing offense?
That's it, man.
And now, Porter being a plus defender, he's almost playing himself into being a key cog in the Nuggets defense because he is so tall and so long. Like, it's not even just about him being capable. Now it feels like he's making stuff happen defensively. So it's big.
Yeah, I mean, he really does raise their ceiling that much more because it's a wing. First off, being able to defend these type of wings in the NBA is tough. But also, now you can switch 1 through 5. And there were a lot of times that they took Michael Porter Jr. out of the game at the end of games. Yeah. When it actually mattered or when it became crunch time because he was not able to defend, because he was not able to just lock in on his guy. And then that also made the offense not as strong. Your offense is strongest when you have Michael Porter Jr. out there because he can space the floor, he shoots the piss out of the ball. And now if you add defense, there's no reason to take him out of the game. So he's earning himself to be that guy if he could keep that together.
Strong agree, and I think he can do this at a consistent enough level. And the bottom line is we saw him do it in the playoffs, which was what mattered most. So I do think one caveat, if it's a significant stretch without Murray and Porter's maybe closer to a second option, I just always think the more offensive responsibility you take on, the less focus and effort you have to give defensively. So will it look the same without Jamal? I don't know, especially if he's getting more shots up. But the question of can Porter do this? The answer is yes.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to segment 3. Nuggets have only played 7 games. They're 6-1. It's never too early, at least for me, to just make some sweeping conclusions about the rest of the Western Conference. And one of those for me right now is I'm off the Phoenix Suns. I had them coming into the season as the biggest threat to the Nuggets in the West. And, Phoenix's start has been a little rocky. Bradley Beal's been out. Devin Booker's been in and out of the lineup. Yusuf Nurkic has been predictably pretty bad. I'm just kind of off them. I've lost some confidence in them. They're no longer my biggest threat to the Nuggets in the West. I want to go around the panel here and just get who do you guys think right now is the biggest threat to the Nuggets in the West? Either one of you guys.
I think it's the same team that was the best for them last year. The Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And now they're at full strength. Now they have those, defensive weapons that they could throw at you that just kind of changes things. That was the closest that any team came in the playoffs last year to being able to actually defend them. And they were missing guys. So I think that actually is big. And I know that, you could be a prisoner of the moment and just say it's because of the other day, which I just think was a bad Nuggets game. But I just really think that they have the guys that can run with Denver and actually compete. Also, they have not a Jokic stopper, but guys that can slow him down or at least make it more difficult that the other teams don't have. So that's like the biggest key is how do you stop Jamal? How do you stop, Jokic? Or can you slow them down? And I think they have guys that can slow them down.
Yeah, I wonder about the distinction with this question of tougher matchups for Denver versus in a vacuum, who's the second best team in the West? Because I think you're right. Maybe the Timberwolves at least have an easy sort of answer right now on paper to the first part of that. Who is the second best team in the West? Do the Warriors still have a chance right now? They at least know who they are when the going gets tough.
Mavs are 5-1.
Mavs are 5-1. You could buy some of that stock. I'll probably pass.
I won't. I will not buy.
But there is a little bit of, I mean, look, we need to see Phoenix fully healthy, but they also built a team that might not be fully healthy a ton. My big question with Phoenix, is that team going to be able to defend, really? I don't know, man.
No, I mean, they're not.
They're not. So it could still be the Lakers. I know everyone's down on them. Not for the Nuggets,
breaking
though.
news into the show, Anthony Davis left the game against the Heat with injury.
Well, tell us where the breaking news is.
Are you being serious?
No.
I mean,
there's a replay of it right now.
It's pretty standard.
He's having spasms, and this happens often. This is going to
do you want
happen
the exact
15
injury?
more times.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Hip groin spasm.
All right. So that makes it tough to really dig into the Lakers.
Groin
thing.
spasm. That's tough.
Yeah, I don't know, but you see what I'm getting at? Like, I think Wolves are the toughest matchup. But would you call them the second best team?
No,
in the
I would
West?
agree. I would agree. I think they're the toughest matchup for the Nuggets right now. I don't think they're the second best team in the West, though. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Who do you think the best challenger is for the Nuggets? So we all think it's the Wolves. All right.
Yeah, it can't be the Warriors.
The Warriors are too small, man.
They lost to the team that the Nuggets swept last year.
They're too small.
That doesn't scare me. It really has never scared me.
All right, guys. Get out your phones. Open up the Bet365 app. Superstar Dev, let's make some money tonight. And right off the bat, I want to direct you guys to the DNVR Super Boost tonight. If you go on the Bet365 app, it's right there, right in the front screen of the app, top of the screen. We've boosted, us here, DNVR, we've boosted Michael Porter Jr. to make 3+ threes tonight.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's plus 100. We boosted it from minus 170 to plus 100. I'm taking that tonight.
I'm taking it.
And it's going to hit. And
no Jamal Murray? I'm taking this.
So, Denver comes in this game as 6-point favorites. And I was like a little skeptical until heard all those guys that are out for them too. Mm-hmm. I think Denver still has it in the bag. I really like the -6. This is just a game for them to just be able to do whatever it is that they want to, at least inside. And you could get the inside-out attack. I like the -6. For the over-under of 222, I'm going to go under. I think that Denver will struggle to score just because they don't have the pick and roll that I feel like you could just do every single time. Also, you have to just put into the fact that like some guys are going to get a little bit out of element, being in the starting lineup. You got to have Reggie with the starters, and he has to find his way. He also has been making shots, so that and he's been the guy that they've been running through. So now him in a different role, that also is going to look a little bit different. So I have the under in this one. For the Pelican side of things, their best player is Zion. He's an athletic freak. But this line is a little too high for me.
Emphasis on athletic. Emphasis on athletic.
Well,
I was going to go the other way with it for a second, but I changed my mind.
Yeah. He's working himself back into like the Hoops mixtape days where he was able to just dunk over. He'll jump over a rocket ship and then just finish it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious. You're all over altitude these days.
I am, man.
So, yeah, I think the under 24.5 for him. I do think that Brandon Ingram probably has a better game. I don't think they go through Zion every single time. I do like the over on Valanciunas rebounds at 8.5. He plays Jokic well. He also is like big enough, physical enough to like keep him off of boards early on. But I think that it'll wane over time. But I do think that he'll get his 8.5 rebounds. For Denver side of things, this is about who steps up offensively when Jamal is out for the foreseeable future. Aaron Gordon is the guy that has stepped up. Last game, he was incredible. Like, he did everything for the Nuggets. Rebounded well, scored the basketball, got to his spots. He's now a playmaker. So Aaron Gordon's doing everything, which means his over points, rebounds, and assists is too low, 24.5. 24.5. Mm-hmm. He's going to get over that. I like that. Just lock that in.
Okay.
When Jamal is out, that's when MPJ decides to have his loudest Mike moments. Everybody knows that. We're going to go over 2.5 3-pointers because we're going to hit it at the 3 for the plus 100. So make sure that you get that plus 3. Also, we need to see Vogt going crazy in here. Yeah, miking it up. I just know it's going to happen.
Watch him have like 7 points tonight.
It ain't happening.
I know. I like it. I feel good.
I also think KCP gets over 10.5 points.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And there's just space in the floor. You're going to have guys that can space the floor. And also, they're going to have so much attention on Jokic that you get to knock it down like a 3 or 2. So 10.5 points, I think, is going to happen. We always put in Aaron Gordon to record at least one steal. We add that every time.
Yeah.
The lock. This is an easy one. How will Denver score? Their best player. We know what it looks like when the Jokic does not have Jamal Murray. He goes out and wins an MVP. That's how he got it. Didn't have Murray. He scored every single time. Yes. And that's what he's going to do here. They have his points at 28.5. That's a gift. You know how I do with gifts? I unwrap them. I unwrap gifts. He's going to get that. He can do whatever he wants. I also like him at points plus rebounds. The Pelicans are one of the worst rebounding teams in the entire NBA. They're the second worst rebounding rate in the NBA
worse
right
than the
now.
Nuggets, wow.
So you got to like take advantage of that. It's going to be a Jokic night, and then points plus rebounds.
I like it. Here's one I like. Bet365 also has this same game parlay boost. Nuggets money line. Nikola Jokic over 1.5 steals and blocks combined. Nikola Jokic triple-double.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
I would bet Jokic assists tonight, and I would also bet his points. I just think it's going to be a huge Jokic night. I think the ball gets popping tonight with no Jamal Murray, and somebody's going to need to hand out assists. Jamal Murray's been passing the ball like crazy. He's been getting 8, 9, 10 assists a game. Somebody's going to have to get those assists.
That's a great point.
I think Jokic is going to get a lot of those tonight as well. Anything you like?
No. Sorry. I know that's not great content. That's probably not the answer you were looking for.
But make sure, get on that Bet365 Super Boost. We have boosted MPJ to make 3+ threes tonight.
That's my
No Jamal
lock.
Murray. We're all getting on that. Ride with us on that bet tonight. Guys, thank you for tuning in.
Good job, Harrison. I barely noticed he was gone.
Thank you.
Barely
Thank
noticed.
you. Nuggets Pelicans up next. We'll be back to break it all down, hopefully in the Winners Lounge. Talk to you guys then.
We all silly like the mayor.